You're watching The Week in 15 on TV Platinum, your in-depth roundup of the 15 biggest stories shaping Nigeria this week. From politics to power struggles, governance to grassroots voices, let's rewind and break it down all for you. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC has warned that rising internet fraud is worsening visa restrictions for law-abiding Nigerians abroad. EFCC Chairman Olalukoide made the remarks in a statement on Tuesday delivered by Chief Superintendent Koka Oyegunle following a gathering in Port Harcourt on Monday organized by the Coalition of Nigerian Youths on Security and Safety Affairs. Olukoide warned that financial crimes cost Nigeria billions, damage its global image, and tighten travel rules for law-abiding citizens. He urged young Nigerians to channel their energy into productive sectors to drive innovation and national development. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory Nyesom Wike has criticized former presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Omoyele Sowore, over his comments describing President Bola Tinubu as a criminal. Wike, who spoke at the flag-off of the arterial road project in Uyo on Thursday, stressed that Sowore was lucky to have a president who believes in the rule of law, warning that under different leadership, such remarks might not be tolerated. The minister noted that while Nigerians freely abuse the president online, such conduct is unheard of in other countries. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar had cautioned the federal government against reported plans to amend the Petroleum Industry Act and divest major stakes in joint ventures within the oil and gas sector. Atiku, in a post on his X handle, stressed that while he supports liberalization, reforms must uphold transparency, national interest, and long-term value. He warned that amending the PIA without caution and broad consultation could erode trust, destabilize the sector, and threaten energy security. National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Professor Netawe Yilwada, has defended President Tinubu's economic reforms, noting they received broad support across political and social lines, including the removal of fuel subsidy. Yilwada, who spoke on Channels Television Sunrise Daily on Wednesday, described the reforms as necessary and unavoidable. Yilwada noted that Tinubu's reforms have boosted government revenues and improved service delivery. He added that state governments are now more financially stable, with reforms strengthening governance and public services nationwide. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa stressed that collaboration between the military and the media is essential in the fight against Boko Haram and in advancing national stability and security. General Musa, who spoke through the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Kange, made the remarks on Wednesday at the third quarter media stakeholder seminar held at the Nigerian Army Officers Mess in Maiduguri, Borno State. He highlighted the sacrifices of military personnel in challenging conditions and emphasized that peace requires more than force, with strategic communication and civic engagement making the media a vital partner in national security. Former Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara has hailed President Bola Tinubu's tax reforms, calling them the most ambitious overhaul of Nigeria's fiscal system in decades. Dogara made the remarks on Tuesday while delivering the maiden distinguished parliamentarian lecture organized by the House of Representatives Praise Corps at the National Assembly Complex in Abuja. He described President Bola Tinubu as set to be remembered as a leading economic reformer, highlighting that the Nigeria Tax Act 2025 and related reforms aim to tackle structural economic challenges, strengthening the country's economy. Senator representing Borno South in the Senate, Alin Dume, has warned labor unions and oil industry stakeholders against attempts to portray Dangote refinery negatively. Dume issued a warning in a statement on Wednesday in Abuja, stating that a poisonous media narrative is being used to tarnish the refinery's image both locally and internationally. He called on the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, the Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association, and other key stakeholders to engage in constructive dialogue with Dangote Refinery. Dume further stressed that the focus should be on balancing labor rights with national development without putting ordinary citizens at the center of a needless power struggle. Governor of Osun State Ademola Adeleke has dismissed reports of a plan to defect to the African Democratic Congress. In a statement on Wednesday, his spokesperson Olawale Rashid described the claim as a calculated attempt to create confusion in the state. Rashid stressed that Governor Adeleke remains fully committed to the People's Democratic Party and has no intention of joining the ADC or any other party. 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, says the revocation of the suspension of Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and members of the State House of Assembly is nothing to celebrate. In a post on his official X handle on Thursday, Atiku described the initial suspension as unconstitutional and illegal, saying President Tinubu had no authority to suspend a democratically elected governor or lawmaker. Former Administrator of Rivers State, Vice Admiral Ibokete Bas, has called on residents to support Governor Siminalayi Fubara as he resumes office. In a farewell statewide broadcast, Bas expressed gratitude for the opportunity to serve, noting his 6-month tenure focused on restoring order and stability in the state. He described his period as administrator in the state as the closing of another chapter in a life devoted to service, highlighting achievements in restoring of order, improving governance, and advancing the state's administration. Special Advisor to the President in Policy Communication, Daniel Bwala, has criticized former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, questioning his record as a Labour leader. Bwala, who spoke on the Clarity Zone podcast on Wednesday, claimed Obi, despite his wealth, has no record of supporting public projects or setting up a foundation. He also questioned Obi's alignments with the Labour Party, claiming the former Anambra State governor has no history of supporting workers, struggles, or grassroots activists. The governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, made a triumphant return to Port Harcourt on Friday, just 2 days after President Bola Tinubu lifted the state of emergency ordered his reinstatement. The governor's aircraft touched down at Port Harcourt International Airport at exactly 11:50 a.m., where he was welcomed by a crowd of supporters. Among them were former commissioners, diplomats, and political allies, including Emma Oka, Adeze Ore, Oji Ngofa, Sidney Bara, and former factional Speaker of the House of Assembly, Victor Okojumbo. His return is seen as a symbolic victory in Rivers' turbulent political drama. The federal government says, contrary to media speculation, that Jakarta Steel Company remains in good shape. In a statement by the Ministry of Steel Development spokesperson Salamatu Jabaniya, explained that a comprehensive technical and financial audit is ongoing to guide decisions about the plant's future. Responding directly to comments by businessman Aliko Dangote, who declared the plant helpless and hopeless, the ministry insisted that the steel plant is structurally sound, though in need of upgrades such as automation to replace outdated manual systems. Troops of the Nigerian Army 22 Armored Brigade, in collaboration with the police and DSS, has restored order in Ifelodun and Isin local government areas of Kwara State. The operation on 13 September 2025 followed a distress call from Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdul Razak over violent youth protests amid rising kidnapping incidents in their communities. Brigade Commander Brigadier General Ezra Barkins, who spoke after the operation, reassured residents of the Army's commitment to their safety and urged youth to express grievances peacefully. Some protest ringleaders were arrested and handed over to the Kwara State Police Command for investigation. The All Progressives Congress APC has dismissed former governor of Osun State Rauf Aregbesol's claim that the African Democratic Congress ADC will defeat President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 general elections. In a statement on Sunday, Lagos APC spokesman Sheye Oladejo described Aregbesol's declaration as political suicide and an empty boast, accusing him of betraying the party that shaped his political career. Aregbesola made the claims during a gathering in Lagos after joining the ADC on Saturday, stressing that his new party would unseat President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 general election and also take control of Lagos State. And that's your Week in 15. Stay informed, stay empowered. For deep dives into these stories, stay with TV Platinum, where the news meets clarity. Thank you for watching.